Good morning, everyone. Might be a bit peculiar to you that your Dutch uh, lecturer is talking English to you, but bear in mind we're international, so here we go. Welcome to all the other participants. My presentation will be a short one, and I will try to present to you a case which occurred this summer. No high media attention, but one slight difference of time, and it would have been massive news media all over the summer. Let me take you through it. The context of the case, as you may be aware, since Ukraine was invaded by the former Soviet Union, nowadays Russia, a lot of things are going on. We build a sort of coalition in order to help Ukraine fight back. And as a response to that, the Russians mounted various tactics against us in order to disrupt our sort of solid community. One of the things they did is disinformation and propaganda. Nothing new. You heard the fake news argument a lot of times, but it is going on heavily. Another thing Russia is trying to do is get economic leverage. What they do is they physically attack the Ukraine grain infrastructure, which cripples Ukraine in its economics, but more than that, it gives Russia a bit of leverage to those countries that heavily depend on Ukraine grain. Furthermore, what they do is they foster a political division. They constantly try to get partners, squirrel, fight, and division. Another thing is that what they do is anywhere in the world where there's some disruption, they make damn sure it continues. So whether it's the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, it is supposedly to be the Israeli and Hezbollah and a conflict, but fact is they are targeting the Lebanon. The influence of Russia is heavily. Any geopolitical incident they put on the fire in order to keep the focus away from their invasion of Ukraine. And the constant military threat. By the words of Putin, World War III would have been started already 5 times. Didn't happen, but the threat is constantly there. So bear this in mind. This is the context of the HL case. Now, what happened this July? On 3 different locations from DHL, which is a well-known international freight carrier, peculiar things happened. First, July 20th, on their Leipzig facility, a package started to burn. And no secret, things should not burn during transport, obviously. One day later, July 21st, a similar thing happened in Warsaw. And last but not least, one day after that, almost identical thing happened in their Birmingham facility. So 3 quite similar incidents happened on 3 executive days. Nobody got hurt, no big fire, but potentially big mayhem. But potentially big mayhem is no news. So in summer, all's well, sun is shining, everybody's taking a day off. A near miss is not news. It only is news when things go heavily wrong. Now, let's have a look on why we're talking near miss here. There was a lot of investigation going on in the background in order to try and find out what happened here. Because 3 similar incidents in 3 consecutive days, you don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to understand that is not a coincidence. Something was going on, but what? And because one of the incidents happened in Warsaw, Poland, the Polish started to investigate and they briefed the Germans on their Leipzig incident. And we first got to know of the incident by a presentation of Mr. Thomas Hanwang of the German intelligence service, and he gave a short presentation in the Bundestag, which is the German people's representation, and he explained what has happened. They partially found out themselves and they partially relied on the information of the Polish Secret Service. And what happened was quite shocking. They found out that these packages were sent on purpose and they were meant to designate or explode, but at least ignite and start a fire in the air. I know, I'll get back in a second. I know. That's the problem, not the steering. I know. And what they found out, that by a mere stupidity, a delay of half an hour saved a DHL air cargo plane. It was supposed to go off on the plane in the air. But fortunately, by a stupid coincidence, it didn't. So here's your near miss. For those who don't actively search the internet for airplane crashes, let me give you a slight feeling of what happens when an airplane, by any cause, gets down. This happened in the Netherlands, Amsterdam. A El Al flight went off, went down, and crashed into 2 major apartment buildings. It was not an attack, supposedly, but nonetheless, the effect of an airplane coming down is about this. Another one, if you're a bit older, you might have heard of it, the Lockerbie bombing. Pan Am airplane bombed out of the air and hit the small town of Lockerbie, Scotland. And this is what it looks like when your small town gets hit by an airplane being bombed out of the sky. So Germany, or maybe any other European country which would have been underneath the plane while it was in the air, nearly was faced with this consequence. And the only reason it didn't happen is for some stupid delay of half an hour. Normally, we are very annoyed with delay. This time, delay saved our ass. Now, let's go back to the events and let's briefly analysis put on play. What the Polish found out, that 4 packages were sent from Vilnius, and although the first one went in the air, caught fire in Leipzig, it was sent from Warsaw. By mere speed of transport, it was there first in Leipzig before the Warsaw package went off. In Warsaw, there were 2 packages. One went off, one didn't. And because one didn't, they were able to take out this package out of the normal logistic way and analyze what was going on. And in it, they found normal household equipment like cosmetic tubes filled with a liquid that easily burns, magnesium based, and they found ignition materials. So here we are, man-made, designed to go over in the air to take down an DHL air cargo plane. No mistakes, no oops, sent to the wrong address, on purpose. And they found out with a, let's say, 95% certainty that the fingers of Russian Secret Service were all over this incident. Now, here we are. First, I told you the context. We are in a situation in Europe where we have Ukraine being invaded by Russia. We are trying to help Ukraine. As a result of which, the Russians are angry with us. And their anger comes to a point that it's no longer disinformation. It's no longer trying to split the coalition, etc. They are actively targeting our way of life. Because if it would have been successful and this plane would have come down, I think it's fair enough to say, if this plane hits your town, it affects your way of life, 100%. Now, having said that, from a security management point of view, let's have a look if we can see or find out what we can learn from this. And I have to be a bit careful because we don't have all the information. When it comes to these kinds of incidents, you don't get full access to the files. But from what we know, I can tell you this. Management security systems, as defined by the ISO 31000 standard, should look like a certain structure. And one of these items within the structure is this 5.4.1, which says, look, if you have a management system, then you should be aware of the context you operate within. Bear in mind, I told you the context at the beginning of the case. Another one says, look, you have to identify your risk, and by doing so, you have to take into account threats and change of context. Now, it seems, and I'm using the word it seems, because I can't be 100% sure, that at least DHL missed out on their context. I think they were not enough aware of the fact that they are operating an air cargo business in a part of the world where tension is high. And we had enough incidents in the past to know that bringing packages like these on board for the purpose of bringing the plane down and causing havoc and mayhem, is nothing new. Nonetheless, they didn't notice. Another thing is that a threat is a general thing. It could occur, happened before, but is at a distance. Arguably, ever since the, for example, MH17 attack, we are no longer talking about a threat taking down planes. It actually happened. By mistake, it was the wrong plane. They targeted another plane, a Ukraine military plane. Unfortunately, the Buk missile took the wrong one out, wrong one from their perspective. But the intention was there to take out a plane. So don't talk about threat, which is a near or far distance possibility. Risk is something which is at your feet. And I think targeting these kinds of planes wasn't a threat at that time, it was a risk. But I think DHL overlooked that. And last but not least, I'm a bit aware, not in detail, but I've witnessed myself in Amsterdam at their facility there with one of our students, what kind of machinery they use, X-ray machinery, to check on air cargo for all kinds of purposes before it enters the cargo hold of the plane. Now, either DHL does not apply a 100% control of the incoming packages and 100% control of the cargo going into the plane, or if they do so, their facility of checking what's inside the cargo is not able to detect these kind of fluids with detonation mechanism. Either way, you can't speak of a slip. A slip is once. 4 packages, 1 by mistake didn't go off, 3 did, of which 1 was intended to go off on the plane. Luckily, it didn't. But 4 times, they missed. That, my students, is a clear sign of a big flaw in the security system. You can't miss 4 times. 1 maybe, 4 definitely not. I'm not saying that if DHL would apply the ISO 31000 system by the book, this wouldn't have happened. But I dare say that if they did, at least 1 or 2 of the packages might be detected earlier, as a result of which the other ones could have been detected earlier as well. You need to find 1 in order to wake up. If you don't find anything, you wake up on the moment things start burning, which is too late. So, lessons learned. Security management is a vital way of protecting, first of all, the continuity of your business, but also of your stakeholders, i.e. us. All the best for DHL, but I like to live safely in my town, not having a DHL plane coming out of the air into my backyard. Thank you. Secondly, if you apply security management, do so in a way that it is structured. And there are various structures available. One of them, and which I prefer, is the ISO 31000, designed to methodically and in a structured way get you through your system and double check whether the way you apply it secures, from a security point of view, your business continuity. Having said that, I hope DHL is awake, they gear up and get their things together. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions with regard to this presentation, ISO 31000, please feel free to ask. Use the chat and I'll try to answer. If not, I'll leave you to the next presentation. Thank you.